What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, a channel that represents the absolute realist. This is your quickfire news show. We've got the one and only Sam McCabe alongside me, and football is almost back, Sam. What do you reckon?
Well, if it's as long as it's better than that England display last night, which was Jesus Christ.
I didn't even watch it.
I had
Legit,
it on.
didn't even.
I had it on in the background, so I was doing some other stuff. But that was like watching paint dry. That was terrible. One of the worst games I've ever seen. I was just like, oh, at least it'll be entertaining. Because they'll get 6 or 7 goals because it'll be tandem at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Awful. So as long as it's better than that, then we're good.
Well, the only clip I saw from that game, I don't even know if it was the same game last night, was Maguire giving the ball away, and then I saw him kind of stumbling over his shit, nearly giving a penalty away as well, which nearly got given. That was literally the only thing I saw, and then obviously looked at the scoreline, checked that, see how the lads did from United, and that was that really. But we're not here to discuss Gareth Southgate in England because no one wants to talk about that. We are going to discuss. Well, we don't want to talk about some of this really, having been delayed and stuff, but. We're going to be discussing the latest updates with the partial takeover, should I say, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. Luke Shaw is set to bounce back this weekend, and apparently he's chomping at the bit to get into the team. And there's some transfer talk around Antoine Griezmann, January, summer, whenever you want to talk about it, and we'll get into that towards the end. So as always, make sure you're getting involved in the comment section and smash a like on the video to let us know you enjoy the content. Now, the title of the show we put together is Sir Jim Bid in Doubt. Now, it'll be a year tomorrow, Sam, I think, since the Glazers first announced he was open to a potential sale of the club, either in full or part. Ratcliffe, I'd hoped to complete a deal for United by now, but there are no guarantees that'll be wrapped up before Thanksgiving on Thursday, and some clubs to the process fear it could be next week before an announcement is forthcoming. Ineos' 25% investment in Manchester United now looks like it'll be pushed back until the new year. So that's a separate tweet coming out from the Mirror, who I think were on Stretford Paddock. They like dragging things out, don't they, Sam?
It's the Glazers, isn't it? Like, they can't make decisions quickly, never mind like in a decent timeline. Like you said, it's been a year since they announced the strategic review, and it took them a year to get to the point where they realised they didn't want to sell fully for the club, not at least for 6-7 billion. They wanted it more than that, it seems, and they've decided on the 25% stake for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, which means they get to keep owning the club, keep extracting money and wealth from the club, but they get the investment that they definitely needed to stay at the club, because I don't think they could have stayed without it. And then they don't have to worry about the football thing. They can just continue extracting money, which is always a source of their pain, because they have to spend their money then when they run the football thing. So, well, our money, which means less money for them in their pockets. Sorry, correct myself. So, did anybody expect this to be wrapped up by Thursday? I didn't. I definitely didn't. No. I was like, this is going to drag.
Just stuck with the team.
Yeah, they're going to drag out, and it's going to continue on, and it'll get done when it gets done, because the Glazers are not on anyone's timeline except their own. And when they feel like getting it done, they will do it, and when they can be asked on making the decision, they'll do that. So anybody going, oh, it'll definitely be done by this date, you can't. There's no surefire bet that it'll happen. Like, even the Sky Sports are speculating, like, oh, it wouldn't be surprising if it was announced. Was it last Friday? They said, oh, it could be announced this Friday, but then it could happen next week as well. And now it's like, oh, it probably what happened this week. It might be new. So nobody knows shit. Like, everybody's just making shit up.
It's weird, and it'd be funny to go back through all the times we've seen it written that this is the expected date when it's going to happen, because it's got to be about 30 or 40 dates in there when Qatar are going to take over and when Sir Jim Ratcliffe was going to take over. At this point, again, like we say with a lot of stuff with transfers, the excitement's kind of been taken out of it. I'm not even expecting like massive news or a big kind of interview with Sir Jim Ratcliffe or anything along them lines. I'm just kind of expecting maybe United putting some out on the website, maybe a few little, kind of bits around what the plan is. And apart from that, I don't expect anything huge. I know we've spoken about what we want from Ineos coming in and what we would change, etc. But do you expect any significant immediate changes when they come in?
I believe when they are ratified, it's going to take, I think, 6 to 8 weeks for the Premier League to do the ownership test, which is the new thing to stop things like what the Glazers did to buy the club in the first place happening, like buying it on a debt leverage buyout, and stop clubs like Bury and stuff like that from collapsing. So it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks, which would probably push us past the transfer window in January at this rate. If it's not going to be announced till New Year, then 6 to 8 weeks from that. So that's the transfer window in January gone. So essentially making changes to the club in terms of like players and that sort of what's happening on the pitch, I think would be very minimal. I think the changes that would happen would everything be behind the curtain and behind the sort of the boardrooms. We're already seeing that Richard Arnold's due to leave on the end of the year. There's mixed reports about John Murtough's future. Some saying he's definitely going to go. There's other ones where he's saying he's staying. So who knows what's happening there? And then I imagine you've got new people coming in, the likes of Jean-Claude Blanc, Dave Brailsford, possibly Paul Mitchell, etc. People like that. So I think that's where the changes are going to be. I don't expect to see anything on the pitch or transfers or anything like that until the summertime, if at all. Like obviously, it depends on if and when this deal's ratified and what the sort of details are and stuff like that. But yeah, anybody who's expecting a splash in the transfer window or players coming in, I would hold your horses, because it's probably going to be very much like last January.
Yeah. Big up to everyone in the chat. Brian saying there, are they delaying the deal so they don't have to spend money in January?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me from the Glazers end, but for Sir Jim Ratcliffe, you have to think, if you're going in there in a business sense, you would like to get Champions League football, because obviously financially it's going to be better for you just going forward. Even FFP, whatever you want to talk about, it's more beneficial, right? It's more kind of wiggle room to move. So if I was them, I'd be like, I want to get in before January so I can get maybe a player like Todibo in, or get, a signing, maybe a bit more of a seasonal striker, which will obviously affect your season going forward. We saw last season what Chelsea, Arsenal, and a few other teams did in January. They significantly improved it, and obviously that pushed them into certain places. So for me, it wouldn't make sense financially for Ratcliffe.
But obviously, to do that. That's not up to him, is it? Like he can do everything and have the money and all the proof and stuff. It's down to the Glazers. Like that's what it comes down to. So until they decide and they sign it off, he can plan all he wants. And I know the Premier League have voted against banning entities that own different clubs and loaning players between those clubs, because I know there was worries
just recently, right?
Yeah, I think it was today actually. So I know there's worries about Newcastle loaning Ruben Neves possibly from is it Al Hilal? Is that where he is?
I think so.
And then that would have then potentially stopped like us getting to Debo, for example, someone like that. But they voted against it, so that deal should be quite easy to do, hopefully, like in January. Like we could just sort of get that over the line quite quickly, maybe a loan until the summer, and then once everything's done we could purchase him, people like that. But we'll see what happens.
Well, another man who's a free agent is Richard Arnold. His departure was seen as the first of what is expected to be a number of changes at senior level by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, although sources stress that Joel Glazer, the Manchester United co-chairman, remains the majority shareholder and the ultimate decision maker. So is this actual change, is my question for you.
There won't be full change until they go. Until those parasites are gone, you will never have... You will never have change. Well, they have to die eventually, don't they? Hopefully soon.
Soon. Yeah. Read my mind.
So until they go, there won't be any sort of complete change at Manchester United, because, like you said, at the end of the day, you're going to have to answer to the majority shareholder, which is parasite number one. So I think the idea that we were going to get them all out at the same time, like a cancer treatment where you just cut everything out, was sort of hopeful at best, and Sheikh Jassim was probably the way to do that, and obviously that's no longer going to happen, despite what comments people leave on our posts and stuff.
92nd minute winner, Sheikh Jassim has won it.
So yeah, I mean, credit to you lads, like you keep believing, like enjoy yourselves, but Yeah.
Relentless belief. Love it.
So the only other way would be to use the analogy to treat the symptoms and bring it down until you can remove it piece by piece. And that's what Sir Jim Ratcliffe seems to be doing. It's like, all right, I'll take 25% now, take control of the football operation, get us successful on the pitch, stadium, blah, blah, blah. And then the next couple of years, I'll buy a bit more, buy a bit more, buy a bit more, buy a bit more. Eventually, he's going to move majority in and he can just get rid of all. That seems to be his plan. Or I'd imagine it's his plan. I can't imagine him signing up to this thing and going, I'm only going to take 25% and I'm not going to take any more. Like, this is a guy, when he takes over companies or he takes over sporting entities, he ends up with control eventually. So I don't imagine.
That, didn't you?
Yeah.
He
So
said usually.
yeah, I don't imagine he's going to do that at Manchester United. Like, obviously, anything can happen in football, but being it what it may. So I think, yeah, full change won't happen, and we'll still have some hangover from the Glazers, and there'll still be money going to their pockets instead of into the club and into players and into the stadium structure and stuff like that. But hopefully with this new investment Sir Jim Ratcliffe, at least we'll get added funds to stuff they're not putting money into in the first place, which Chivy is all about what happens on the pitch, and then everything else will follow. And I think if you invest in the stadium, invest in the training ground, recruitment, scouting, sort of player development and stuff like that, that improves the football, which equals success, which equals better stuff. And then over the years, as we do that, hopefully he can edge the Glazers out. It's a slow process. It's a pain in the arse, and I know people have been waiting for over a decade and a half now for the Glazers to leave, and it's going to take another few years. And I get people are angry, I get people are pissed off, I understand it fully, but this is the only option we have at the minute. This is the only one, because the Sheikh ain't coming in, nobody else is coming to save us, no state is coming in to do it, so we have to take this option and just sort of hope that we get there eventually rather than quickly.
It'd be interesting to see how this develops in the next kind of year or so, to see how much change they can actually make. I mean, Simon's saying there, can he instantaneously make changes regarding the infrastructure? We don't really know, to be honest. No. Like, for definite, you would think, obviously, things like the stadium are going to take a while. The training facilities, I can't see a reason why they can't instantly get to work.
I was going to say that should be instant. It should,
yeah.
If not, like,
I can't see why it'd be a problem. It's more, I don't know, transfers, getting rid of certain people, bringing certain people in. That would take a while, and I believe that they said they was going to do like a 100-day review to see, you know, what. It's all good looking at it from the outside, but they really want to get in there and see what's what. And the shit show that is Manchester United. And this was kind of another part of the article, which is, this led me into it perfectly. John Murtough expects to play a part in any transition under Ratcliffe at United. He's hoping to make more additions of his own to United's existing recruitment team. And there's been some kind of conflicting reports about this from loads of different people. Are you surprised at this particular update with Murtough?
I mean, it's, again, we've just spoke about journalists and outlets not knowing what's actually happening and stuff. So, again, we all hoped that he'd get rid of Arnold and Murtough, because I think we all agree on this channel they've been essentially useless. They promised change, and they promised something different from Woodward and Matt Judge and stuff like that, and then they've basically come in and done pretty much the same thing. Overplayed on players, not got number one targets, and then fucked around in Barcelona and Italy, but essentially getting nothing done and having the pants pulled down. So we all hoped that they would go, and then we were sort of suspicions that maybe Sir Jim Ratcliffe would bring people in, like he has at Nice, like he has at is it Lausanne?
Lausanne, I think.
Yeah,
yeah. I know what you mean.
Like he's done there. Follow the pattern, which is, like, I think fair speculation, and Richard Arnold seems to have leaped before he was pushed. I imagine, like, he's gone, well, I don't want to get let go, so I'm just going to leave now, get fat payout, and then leave with
on that,
saying
I was listening
terms.
To Phil Brown and James from Potatoes before, obviously, that podcast together, and they were saying, like, they spoke to senior executives or people at the club, and they were saying Arnold knew this months ago, because he'd stopped replying to people, he stopped sending emails out, basically effectively just stopped doing his job properly, because he knew basically that the sentence was being swung. So it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and if I don't know, like, there's conflicting reports about Murtough. Like everybody was saying, oh, he's definitely. Was it a Telegraph or the Times who said he was definitely going? There was the quote one. He's definitely
going. Yeah, I know. Like, so it's the Telegraph who've put this out about Murtough. This is James Ducker putting out about this.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, the specific outlet, but
somebody said he's definitely going. Like, he's definitely gone. And then I saw a load of channels sort of leap on that, saying Murtough on the way out, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, again, I think there's a lot of speculation and a lot of sort of like 2 + 2 = 4, which may well end up being on the money, but again, we don't know for sure, do we? Until it happens, until Richard Arnold releases a statement, we don't know. We don't know. So hopefully he goes. I don't think he should be there. I don't think he's suitable for the role. I think he's had an opportunity to try and prove himself and he hasn't done it. So yeah, get rid of him. Bring in a Paul Mitchell. Bring in a who else? Who was the other one they were looking at?
There was Paul Mitchell and it was Michael Edwards, who was former director of Liverpool.
Yeah.
And there was one more. There was that Dougie
Friedman.
Dougie something.
Yeah.
Friedman.
So yeah, bring him. Bring in somebody who's in football, has got a track record, and can do the job correctly, and won't get absolutely bitch slapped when it comes to transfer fees and dicked about by players and agents and stuff like that, which John Murtough and Richard Arnold were. So yeah, bring somebody in who knows what they're doing. That would be the ideal.
Yeah, throughout the full thing, which would be nice. Let's have a look at some more comments. Get to the core that's rotten. No more quotes from me. That's why the Sheiks didn't get in. Now you're thinking I'm a blue and shouldn't need to highlight the gents. Patience is a virtue. I get that patience is a virtue, but it's hard to signal that to Manchester United fans when they've been waiting so long for a change. I'm just impatient naturally, so I'm willing to see how Ratcliffe gets on, but I'm still not I'm still a little bit pessimistic knowing that Joel Glazer's still going to be signing things off and still going to be in charge, because we could have had people at the club who are really, really good at the job, but ultimately it all stems from the top. If Joel ain't signing it off, then I think what's interesting, Marcel Bout, who left United as one of the chief scouts, I think he was, Dan Ashworth at Newcastle has brought him onto his team now. And I think there was either a couple of quotes or he mentioned something about like just systematically the way it works at the club is just like horrendous and there's no leadership in there whatsoever. So obviously they need to go in there and something like Simon says there, get to the core that's rotten, because otherwise things won't change. But it's not going to be quick, is it, Sam? It's going to be a long-term thing.
And that's what I wouldn't apply it to the match-going fan, because the match-going fans that we've spoken to, including Jay, who's on the channel, like, they're all prepared to be patient. Like, they go to games every single week. They understand how the club is and stuff like that. I think it's the online fury, and we know the Glazers care about that. They care about the online image of the club, because you saw when we were linked with Arnautovic, the online fury against that is absolutely insane, and they backed away from it very quickly. Same thing with the Mason Greenwood thing. They were trying to bring in, they were headstrong and thinking it, and then they saw the backlash online from this people and stuff like that, and they backed away from that as well. So they clearly care what happens online. So I think that's how sort of they'll look at it and they'll go, this will look good online if we're able to sort of shift the blame onto Sir Jim Ratcliffe when he comes in. And so if football and stuff goes wrong, everybody's going to blame Sir Jim and his team, and blah, 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 and the Glazers can just sort of sit in the corner menacingly, like twirling the moustache, like, man, like he can take all the blame. Which I think, if he gets it wrong, fine, but I think it's going to take time. There's going to be teething problems, there's going to be issues, there's going to be times where they might get a transfer wrong or they might not quite do things, but it's a learning curve, and I think they need to be given time, much like Ten Hag. The people call him for Ten Hag out, and you just like, Mikel Arteta took how many years? 4 years, 5 years before he sort of started challenging. The Klopp took 3-4 years. Even Pep took a few years, and he's got all the riches of the world at his fingertips. And he inherited a title-winning team. So you have to give this guy patience, and you have to give the same to Sir Jim Ratcliffe and stuff like that. So, but I know he won't get it. You'll see it online. People will be calling for his head within 6 months after the summer transfer window, where we don't get a target that we were linked with online, but we were probably never in for. Like, you see it all the time. Oh, why have United not signed him? because they were never in for him. We were never in for him. It was some media story, and we were never in for him.
You could probably say like 95% of players that we're linked with, or even 97% of players that we're linked with, we never sign.
No.
It's even being pushed out there as when we lose a game, as a bit of spin, cheer us up, or to distract us from the actual the problem that's going on, or it'll just be some journalists trying to get clicks, effectively. When it comes to a big name
agents leaking names that my player needs to move. I'm going to leak his name to the press. Link Manchester United with it. Click, 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 click.
As soon as that United's name gets attached to a player, it kind of breeds interest on it in that sense. So you can see why people do it. Well, especially agents, if they want to kind of get that move. Loomis says, hi, could not control, saying this channel deserves way more. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much. Hopefully we get there one day, but build slowly. Maybe like Ratcliffe if he is successful. A similar kind of process. Of course, this week now, I think we've got Thanksgiving on Thursday in America.
Yeah.
So likely going to be after that now, we think, with the deal with Ratcliffe. Then you've got, obviously, the weekend. Football is back, Sam. We're playing Everton away, which is going to be a tough game, especially after all the news with the points being deducted. So Goodison Park's going to be an absolute bear pit. But one positive we have going into that game is the fact that Luke Shaw and Rasmus Højlund will both potentially return to action for United in that specific game. I've had back and forth with people on Twitter, as people always do, on fan channels and stuff like that, coming at me for saying that this is a real positive. Shaw coming back, we really, really missed him. And people say, he's been here 9 years and blah, blah, and all this fucking bollocks. What's your take on this? How much have we missed Luke Shaw, in your opinion?
I just think we've missed a regular defensive unit. Like, you saw how important the likes of Lisandro Martinez were to us last year. Like, arguably, if not our best player last season, definitely in the top three. So,
consistent, isn't it?
Yeah, missing him is clearly affected us in the way we play and the style of play. And I think Luke Shaw was a part of that. Like you saw when he played centre back, he was integral. I think, did we keep like clean sheet when him and Lisandro played together? They kept like multiple clean sheets.
He filled in for Lisandro because he's a left footer, wasn't it? So him and Varane, I think it was, who played together. It was at the Barcelona game, wasn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah,
came
like
in.
There was so many games where we won games and we kept clean sheets because of Shaw. Like when he's on form and when he's in the mood, I think he's arguably one of the best left backs in the league. Like, he's fantastic. Yeah. And he's developed a leadership thing as well. Like, he speaks really well. He speaks really honestly and eloquently when he's interviewed and stuff like that, which is a rarity. Like, when I hear, I don't want to pick on Maguire, but sometimes in interviews I listen to him and I just go, "You're talking shite, mate." Like, you
don't want to listen to him.
Yeah. Whereas Shaw, he's quite honest. Like, he'll be like, "That wasn't acceptable. Like, we need to do this, we need to do this," and it's quite refreshing. So I like that side of him. Consistency has been an issue with him, I think. It seems like he needs someone breathing down his neck or competition to get the best out of him. Like, he had that bit before the Euros where he was Roberto Carlos, where he was just the best left back in the league. Like, I think he was absolutely phenomenal. And I went to the Euros. Didn't he end up in the team of the tournament as well? The Euros,
him and
Maguire. And then he fell off a little bit, and then we brought Tellez in, and he stepped his game back up, and he carried on. And then obviously Tellez left, and we brought Malacia in, and he was playing last season when we had that horrendous start with Brighton and Brentford. He was really poor. Malacia came in, took his spot, and then when Shaw came back in, he was off to the races from then, and like most of the season he was fantastic. So I think if he's got competition, he does really, really well. I think he does suffer from complacency if he hasn't got someone pushing him. So is Malacia that guy to sort of continuously push him? I've not seen enough of him. Yeah,
as well, Malacia.
I've not seen enough of Malacia to make a judgment on him yet. I know he's not. Everybody thinks he's quite young, but he's not. He's like 23, 24. Like, he's not that young. Mm-hmm. So, is he that guy? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know at this point. It would be nice to have someone like, I know Frimpong is a right back, but it'd be nice to have that kind of level guy, a young guy who's clearly really talented and is on his way up. It'd be good to have that guy waiting in the wings behind Shaw, pushing him to go, if you fuck up or you have a mistake, I'm taking your spot. It'd be nice to have that, but obviously wishes could be fishes and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? You can't have everything, and there's so many other positions that we need to sort before we even think about left back. So, but yeah, he's important. He's really important.
Especially when you look at who we've been playing there. Amrabat, when he first came in, the poor lad had to play there. We've had Lindelof play there. We've had Reguilon play there, and we've had Dalot play there, who we know can play there, but obviously he is predominantly a right back. So to have that, just a little bit of consistency in the back line, and one of our main players, we've only just got Wan-Bissaka back. Varane's been in and out and hasn't been playing recently. Lissandro's out for a long time, and Shaw's been out for ages as well. I think he's been out 10 weeks. Would he go out against Spurs? I think it was his last game before he got injured. So
Malacia hasn't played all season, has he? Like, he got injured in pre-season, I think.
So his last game was for Netherlands mid-June. That was the last time that he played. So it'd be nice to have him back. I think he's super important as well for ball progression. Like, even from set pieces, you think about the most important goals that we've scored, the Carabao Cup final, who delivered the ball into Casemiro? Luke Shaw. Yeah. Like, in a lot of the important games, European games, who delivers it? Luke Shaw. So he's very important in a lot of us. His versatility, ball progression, set pieces. Even good for Rashford. I think Rashford missed him.
Really good relationship with Rashford. Like, they seem to understand each other quite well. And when he plays, Rashford seems to play better. It feels like when Shaw isn't there, Rashford feels like he has to do everything and take the world on. Whereas when Shaw plays, he knows he's got that outlet or that overlap or that underlap coming 100%. That he can play off and get in and stuff like that. But I don't understand the negativity of people. Like, it just seems like people feed off United being shit or United being negative, because I know why they do it, because it gets clicks and it gets highlights and you get to like more views and stuff like that. But it's just like, do you not enjoy watching good football, man? Like, do you not enjoy like watching your team win and stuff like that? Like, you have to focus on the negative and go, oh, he's been shit for 9 years. It's just like, for fuck's sake, man. Like, just give it a rest.
Can we not just be happy about a fucking player returning, because we haven't had it all season, and they're starting to finally come back now. You would think, with Maguire being in good form. Someone just mentioned there, why does Maguire never get injured? Does he get the best medical service? Not that I want him to get an injury. I just think, I don't know what it is. He is reliable, to be fair to him. Yeah, it's just some people are like Bruno.
Yeah.
There we go. How the fuck has he not got injured yet? Like, most minutes in Europe last season. I think it was, I was watching a video the other day for an edit, and Rashford was talking about Bruno. He was like, I don't understand where he gets the energy from. Like, I don't know what he eats or what he does. The guy must sleep like 12 hours a day, because how he's not injured yet, it's crazy.
Some people just have those engines where they just keep going. Ji-sung Park, like, the dude could run for 120 minutes and just not even look tired. Like, the guy who's just ridiculous. You got some players like that who are just, they're always available. The energy levels never drop, and they're just constantly, they go. And it's genetics. I imagine genetics has got a lot to do with it, because some players just seem genetically predisposed to have injuries, like Martial, like just constantly fucking injured, just constantly injured. So I think it's just luck of the draw, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. I did do a video yesterday, by the way. I don't know if any of you have seen it who are currently in the chat, on injuries and how many we've had and why we've had them, and what's causing these problems, and talking about Bruno. I think Bruno and Rashford are the only two players in the squad who haven't picked up an injury, and even Rashford was a scare the other night when he clashed with Trent. So we are literally a few players off having nearly everyone in our squad picking up an injury or an absence or an illness, which is just utter madness. So yeah, make sure you go check that out if you haven't seen it already, and leave a like on the video for us if you can. The last little bit of news we're going to talk about is Antoine Griezmann. I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but it's news that's out there. Fabrizio Romano put, there is absolutely no chance Antoine Griezmann will join United in January, but there has been links with him recently from multiple different journalists, some suggesting the summer, some suggesting the winter. What are your thoughts on this player and this transfer?
It sounds like an Ed Woodward transfer, doesn't it? Like, it stinks of Ed Woodward, that transfer.
Yeah.
30. Is he 33? 33?
I don't know. I was literally just going to double check his age now. I think he's starting tonight actually for France. But you see, they beat fucking Girona.
14? Is it 14?
0?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, the other day, crazy. Yeah, he's 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah.
So like talented guy. Like, you saw when he first played for Atletico, You saw the talent. There's a reason why he got the move to Barcelona, and obviously it didn't work at Barca. And now he's gone back to Atletico. And for all intents and purposes, considering the limited system that Simeone plays, he's getting the best out of him, and he seems to be doing well, like at Atletico. Yeah. One, I think the age profile is wrong. Like 32, 30, you shouldn't be going for 32, 33-year-old players, no matter how good they are. Like, I just think it's a bad idea because they're going to want to win stuff now. Like I said with Varane and Casemiro and stuff like that, I think it's the wrong age profile. Two, where the fuck does he play in our team? Like, where does he play?
Yeah,
because he playing striker. No,
he's a 10, and Bruno always plays.
He's not playing over Bruno. You can force him out on the right or the left, but again, then you're forcing a player into a position he doesn't predominantly play, and we've got enough of that shit as it is within United. Like, we don't need to do more than that. And then the wages thing, we're going to triple his wages. I think he was on 115k a week, so he'd end up on like 375 or 360 at United. And it's just like, do we need that again? Like, Sancho's on
5-year contract.
Yeah, like, Sancho's on 375 a week. Like, do we need another fucking ridiculously paid player at the club? No. If the only way I could see, if we got him on a loan in January till the summer, and they paid his wages, that's the only way I'm happy with this deal. I don't want to pay money for him. I don't want to pay his wages, and I don't see where he plays. So, yeah, it's a no for me.
Atletico are never going to let a guy, I think he's got like 8 goals and 1 assist in 12 games. They're not going to let a guy like that go on loan and pay his wages. Like, it's just, it's never ever going to happen, is it? So, obviously, it's just one of them kind of transfers. You get linked with it. It's a big name. And yeah, it is what it is, but it seems like bullshit to me. Someone else is mentioning a French striker, or French forward, should I say. Charlie Malman's in the chat saying Martial, odd enough, is not injured this season because he's never played.
He plays 30 minutes at a time. He's not played a full. I don't think he's played 90 minutes, has he?
I don't think so. No, he drips him into the team. Like, go play 10 there, play 5 there. But that's how you have to manage him. Because if you trust him for more than 60 minutes, the guy will break down. His body is just not designed for it. And there's been a lot of talk actually about Martial. In a few clubs are interested in him. I'd be interested to know who them clubs are, because I think that's a risky buy. Me looking at that, the wages that he's on, the price that he's going to cost. You can't really rely on him, can you? Someone like Martial at the moment.
When's his contract up? When's his contract end?
2025, I think.
Fuck's sake. So it's not it's not even like it's running out soon.
I mean, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 2025 last time I checked. So yeah, if we can get a bit of money for him, do a bit of business in January in terms of outgoings, because Sancho's probably going to go. Varane, who knows what happens? I don't know what Saudi's going to do, to be honest. So
if we loan Sancho and pay his wages, I'm going to be furious. I'm going to be fucking furious.
It's just another Alexis Sanchez job there, then, isn't it?
Why have we let a £75 million asset go for free and we're paying his fucking wages? Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's such a stupid move. So I hope that's not the case. I hope we sell him, because fuck me.
A lot of work for Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos and Dave Brailsworth and all these guys who are coming in. I don't really envy them, to be honest, because it's a fucking minefield what they've got to sort out. It's like a teacher walking in the room and there's just stacks and stacks and stacks of just homework and misplaced books and shit, and they've really got to go through it all with like a fine-tooth comb to get what they want out of it, and whether they can do it or not is yet to be seen. So, of course, we will be discussing this more in length as the week goes on. There's more and more news shows coming up. What the fuck have we got planned? We've got the Everton preview on Friday, because football is back this weekend. Premier League football is back, so really, really excited about that. We're going to have an Everton fan, one of my mates who's been on the channel before, really, really knowledgeable. I'm excited to talk to him about the points deductions, and there's loads of stuff.
You ain't got Iwobi to sort of shout out this time, has he? You remember that one? You shouted Iwobi out and we were laughing, and he fucking scored.
And he scored. Yeah. So I think that's going to be an interesting preview. We're looking at other guests. We are speaking to other people at the moment to try to get them on the channel. And yeah, loads of content, pre-records, new shows, etc. So as always, stay locked in. Please do turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Check us out on socials. All of the handles are at the bottom of the graphic, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Big up to everyone, all the members as well. Shah Sam's just put good show as usual. Supported us since the start, absolute legend, and everyone else in the chat as well. Anything else to add on, Sam, before we head off?
No. I apologise for everybody who's had to hear me cough and sniff through my nose. I'm suffering from a cold, but I'm at the tail end of it now, so apologies.
That time of the year, innit? I'll have one soon, no doubt. But yeah, that's what we do. We brave through it. So big up to you, Sam. Thank you for coming on. Well, say thank you for coming on. It's our fucking channel. Thank you to everyone in the chat, and yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Peace.
And we want blaze out. We want blaze out. And we want blaze out. We want blaze out. And we want blaze out.